Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Welcome back to another episode of the Prime Life Project podcast. I'm your host, Daniel James, and I have Heather back with me. Heather, how are we?
I'm okay. I'm here.
And you're back.
I'm present.
You're present. We talked about this in the gym the other day, like how bizarre things turned around. Because obviously you were here originally, back in the day, when I had the vision for everything that was going on in this podcast. And now here we are.
Manifested it into reality.
Yeah. Can you remember the first conversation we had?
Yeah, because I remember you would just thought I'd just be like this just basic student, just like, oh, yeah.
You were like desperate for like hours. You're like,
oh
please
yeah,
take me on. I was just like,
yeah.
okay, meet you. And then you came and I was like, fucking hell, like.
And then you were like, yeah, have you heard of law of attraction? I was like, yes.
Daniel, sit down and let me tell you some things.
Yeah.
And then here we are. But didn't I not tell you where we're going to take this podcast?
And here it is.
Here it is. It's only taken me a year, but the universe is slow. You can't force the universe.
On that note, I really like your t-shirt you're wearing today.
I hate all of you guys. This is what you get when you hire a videographer who's a dickhead, and then you've got a fucking co-host that listens to the dickhead. This is what happens. But yeah, you can get this Prime Project podcast thing Bob t-shirt. Anyway, product placement at its finest. There was meant to be three of us today.
There was
three of us. But again, talking about videographers, it's a good job he's a good videographer. Second day on the job, forgets his cameras. You cower away in that corner, Mike. You cower away in that corner. I wish there was a camera on you right now. Anyway, so there was meant to be three of us, but it's not a problem. We've got Heather here. So what we're talking about today, because this is your topic, because this is what you want to talk about. And again, talking about the universe and how fucking weird it is. I had this workshop written out for my clients that I did yesterday. I then said to you guys, what do you guys want to do? You said about this. And then one of my other clients then spoke about it. Like, so this has been a massive topic that just come around this week out of the blue. That's what we're talking about.
We're talking about boundaries.
So why do you want to talk about boundaries? I think this is a topic that a lot of people need to learn to set.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like there's quite a lot of discussion going on about it in the Instagram world. So that is obviously the entire world.
What do you mean there's a world outside Instagram?
What is life without Instagram?
I don't know.
But boundaries is important because it's kind of like, where do you stop and where do other people start and where does other things start, and like what literally are your like boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a difficult thing if you're like a people pleaser or someone who wants to make other people feel better. You can have quite weak boundaries and give a lot of yourself to other people, which can in turn make you depleted.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest problem is people don't even know what boundaries are to start off with. They kind of have an idea, but because they don't have a fixed idea of what boundary is, they then don't set them. Like maybe they internally do them. Like again, we spoke about the podcast when it comes to dating and stuff. Like I think people have an idea in dating world, like I'm set these boundaries. They may not call them boundaries, but like, oh, this is what I'm kind of do. And then before you know it, they're 6 months in, and everything they didn't want to happen has happened because they haven't stayed strong on the actual word at the start. If that makes sense. So for me, I just wanted to get a few things out there again, like some factual things. Like for me, when it comes to boundaries for me are limits that we set ourselves around what we will and will not tolerate. I think that's a good thing to just get out there for people to understand like what actually is a boundary.
I think as well, on that note, that you have to genuinely believe. You can't just arbitrarily, is that a word? You can't just pick, oh, yeah, I won't tolerate this and I will tolerate that. You have to genuinely believe in those things, because I think that's when people can let the boundaries slip, because it's like, actually, I don't really care that much about this thing.
It's something that it's being congruent with it and sticking with it.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is like when it comes to, so when I talk to my clients about this, one of the biggest things was like family. And basically one of the things that came up was, yeah, but it's easier said than done, setting boundaries. What about with your family? And my thing was, I don't give a flying fuck who it is. You have to have boundaries. Because no one has the right to deplete your energy and make you feel shit. And no one has the right to affect your mental health. I don't care if they're blood related or not. That doesn't mean anything. So I sort of set the boundary. I was saying to them, like, you've got to set the boundaries. And the thing with family members is they'll push your boundaries. And if you make that one slight adjustment, that one time where you're a bit like, oh, I let it slip that once, you're done. Because you don't believe in your boundaries. You make that one compromise then becomes two, and then before you know it, you've got no boundaries and you're back to square one. So my thing is, when you've got these boundaries, exactly what you're saying there, it's like you set the boundaries, but you've got to believe in what you're saying. You've got to actually know, right, this is why I'm setting these boundaries. It's important for me and my mental health because of this. And then when people try and push your boundaries, you actually stand fast on them, because otherwise, what's the point of having them? It's just words. And people will try and push boundaries. People will fucking try and push boundaries. So especially family members. Family members are awful for it. And it's something that I found, like, I've had to set some real boundaries recently with certain family members because I feel that when they start saying things to me, the way that they word them, it almost comes across attacking and it affects my mental health. I don't want to talk about this. I do not want to discuss this with you because how you approach it is wrong. If you want to talk it, approach it in this way. And whenever they then start to compromise on that, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not respecting me. And that's the thing. For me, it comes down to, when it comes to boundaries, it's about respect. But when it comes to this, you've got to have the respect for yourself in the first place.
Yeah.
So if you don't have respect for yourself in the first place, why are you expecting everyone else to have respect for you? You can't just have boundaries, not respect yourself, and expect other people to respect your boundaries. You have to have respect for yourself so that when you set these boundaries, you actually will stick to them and know why you're sticking to them.
And so those other people know that when you say no or act in a no way, they can't push past that.
Yeah.
Because if you say no and then kind of give in, and then next time they'll go, well, she might say no again, but she'll give in.
Yeah, because you've got no self-respect for yourself.
Yeah.
Because like you drinking, for example. Like, I don't drink. I've not drank for 9 years. When I first started, people tried to push. I had a very good reason. I can't even remember if I spoke about this on this podcast. The reason why I don't drink is because I got really badly beaten up. I was in America. If I didn't talk about it on the podcast, that's why. Really badly beaten up, might have been the thing. Beaten up when I was in America. And I made that decision that I did not want to be out of control of my body again. So literally from that moment, I decided not to drink again, and I haven't. I had a very strong reason to do that. And I knew why I was doing it, and I stuck by that word. So when people try and say to me, oh, go on, you're boring, don't give a fuck.
It's the same with like healthy eating, innit? Like, in it.
Oh, God, you can take the girl out of Huddersfield.
Up the north. But no, it's the same with healthy eating. When people try to eat healthily and stuff, and then it's always like in the office and Karen and Susan, oh, why are you eating that rabbit food again? Oh, have some cake. And it's people wanting to push down your boundaries and convince you to, and it's usually because it's highlighting something within them that they're uncomfortable about. Maybe they're uncomfortable with their diet. Maybe people are uncomfortable with how much they drink. And seeing somebody else exercise those boundaries makes other people feel uncomfortable. It's the same with like social media, online dating, things like that. Like it's being like available to people 24/7. Just because you have your phone switched on 24/7 doesn't mean you have to be replying to messages.
And you feel guilty. The problem is with boundaries, you feel guilty when you say no. When you set your boundaries, the problem is why people let their boundaries slip is because they feel guilty.
Yeah.
They think they're going to lose their friends.
She's not in the room with us. God bless her soul. But Charlotte is a good example of this because, like, Charlotte is my coach, so like she does like my training program and stuff for me. And if I have a question, I'll message her, and I know she might not reply within like a day or so, but that is because she isn't in that work mode, and she's like mentally said, okay, I'll reply to that at this time. Whereas I could get really like, oh, why hasn't she replied? Hello, and then she'd feel really bad about it. But I just know, all right, I've sent that message. She will reply to it when she's able to. And I've started doing that myself as well. Like, if I'm not mentally able to give someone the information they need at that moment, or like emotionally able to give them that information, and it's so bad because I have so many unread messages, and I will then reply to someone in a different platform. So say it's a text or a WhatsApp, and I've ignored them on Instagram. It's like, I've not ignored them. I just mentally have compartmentalized it, and yeah, I've probably forgotten about it. But it's because I can't process it.
When it comes to coaching, this is what I do. And this is the key thing with this. And I'm glad that you said that you the way you respond to Charlotte is that, because it reminded me of something. So all my clients talk to me on a completely different app. So it's not WhatsApp, it's not Instagram, it's not email. They have a completely different app. And I make sure that I message them when I'm in the right frame of mind. Because before I had no boundaries with that. So I'd be messaging friends and family members on WhatsApp. I would know that the clients could see me online. I would then feel guilty, and then I'll start messaging them back. Now, a lot of my clients come to me because mentally they're not in a good place. So whether that's like mental health with themselves, whatever it is, their mental health isn't in a good place and they want fat loss. And again, the way that work is get the mindset right, blah, 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 blah. So most of the time when clients are messaging me, it's quite deep and can be quite heavy. If I'm not in the right frame of mind for that, I am not then the best version of me for them. So I then have to set a boundary. Right, this is now where you're going to message me on Signal. My then boundary for myself is I will only check that app when I'm in the headspace to check that app. If I've got a quick 2 minutes, I'm in a rush, I'm not going to check that app to message a client back, because then they're going to get the best version of me.
Yeah.
So I've set that boundary. But then it's a case of Charlotte is then responsible for your response. How you respond to her not messaging you back straight away, that's on you.
Oh yeah,
But this is the thing, people like Charlotte, for example, will potentially worry when they set that boundary. So they've set this boundary. So imagine you're my client, I'm now Charlotte, and I'm like, right, I'm going to check my phone once a day in the evening, blah, blah, blah. You've then sent me a message in the morning, and then you've got to wait a couple of hours. I've set my boundaries for good intentions. It's not my responsibility how you feel.
Yeah.
That's on you. Like, I'm doing it for good reasons. It's then you that's freaking and worrying out. But then people worry too much about that other person. Or what's Heather going to think? I need to message Heather back right now. But then all you're doing is then, in this example, like, you're enabling. Like this is what I said to my clients when I was talking about this. The problem is when you let your boundaries slip, is that you enable the other person. So the example that I use is my parents. So for me, I had no boundaries when it comes to money and stuff like that. My parents didn't set any boundaries about when it comes to money. This is why I was so fucking shit with money. I used to get myself into a bit of money, financial troubles, go to my parents, they'd bail me out. They then enabled me. They were enabling my shit ability to handle money. Because I knew that any time I got into trouble, I could go there. Where if they'd actually said, no, sort your own stuff out, then I probably would have learned to handle my money better. So what my parents thought they were doing was helping me out. What people think they're doing, I'll message Heather back, I'm helping her out. What you're really doing is stopping you for thinking to yourself. Because that's not going to be an emergency you've sent. You could figure it out yourself, potentially. Obviously, there might be something you need the coach's advice from. But actually, by you just taking that couple of hours, you could probably think, oh, do you know what? I figured it out myself. But if someone's constantly there and they're not setting those boundaries, that's when it becomes the problem. Because you're then enabling that person. They don't think for themselves. They don't have to. And they know, when I need this, I can go to Heather.
You've got to let that person get into that uncomfortable space as well. I find, like, it's more highlighted. I keep talking about social media, not because I'm 23 and that's all I think about, but because...
Addicted.
I actually aren't. But social media has made people so... You can see when people's online, you can see when they've read your message, you can see how many posts they've liked, how many followers they've got. You can see so much information about these people, and you have access to pictures from 2008, their favourite songs. So it's like, well, why can't I get a message back from them straight away? Why can't I find this out? Why can't I know more? And it's like there's a person behind that profile and they don't want to be tied to it, replying to people constantly. And I guess it goes into like all different apps, emails, anything. It's communication. And if this was 30, 40 years ago, you would ask someone the question when you saw them in person or ring them up or write them a letter. But there's like a delay in that and it's an intentional action. It's not just, I'm thinking about this, I'll just message them, see if they reply. So,
but the thing is, the whole thing with this is then is that the people respond. So when it comes to like social media and stuff like that, and people not setting boundaries for their Instagram and when they're replying back in the emails, and people again feeding into that, it's because people fundamentally want other people's approval.
Yeah.
They want to be liked. We are social beings. We're social creatures. So if you're messaging me and you've sent me a message, and let's say I don't have these boundaries set, my thing is like, I need to reply to Heather. Because if I don't reply to her, what's she going to think of me? She's going to hate me. So I want to impress you. I want to improve you. Same with your partner, for example. Like, if you constantly, spoke at the start, being a people pleaser, like, all you're then doing is you're trying to seek your approval from that other person. Because when we spoke about, you don't have that self-love yourself. You're seeking that love and approval from others for someone else. Like, I will do what you want to do on your terms to make you happy. So then you love me because I need that love.
But then I've found actually being like straight up, brutally honest with people, actually you earn a better response from them and more respect because you're not trying to do something because you can't control how someone responds to what you do. You can try to make them like you or try to make them happy, but they're going to respond however they want. If you are completely honest in your intentions and what you're thinking and, you know, you send a message like, I'm just going to say this, but, or like, to be totally honest, then you've not danced around anything and you've kind of made it clear what you're interacting about or what the topic is or whatever. I'm being very like elusive here, but it's just being clear and direct rather than trying to please them.
But it comes down to intention. We spoke about this before. When it comes to intention, if I've got a knife, I can murder someone with that knife or I can save someone's life in surgery. It's intention. What's the intention behind me having that knife and what I'm going to do? And when it comes to being honest...
Or you can butter some bread.
You can butter some bread. You're so northern. That's such a northern thing to say.
Butter some bread.
The thing with that is the intention behind it, which is the key thing. If you're being just honest and direct with the client, I meant a person, but client came out because I use this with my clients. So when I was talking to clients, I was saying, when it comes to your check-in, you are giving me data. I'm looking at that data and I'm giving you honest feedback that you need. I then don't care how you take that because I'm being honest. If you're smashing a load of fucking shit and being a stupid twat, I need to tell you that from a loving, kindly place to help you because that's what you're paying me to do. You might then get butthurt about it, But in time, you'll be like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
The problem is what's your intention? If I'm doing it to like, well, I'm going to make fucking Heather cry and be fucking absolutely vile, it comes across completely the wrong way. But as long as when you're setting your boundaries and how you're communicating it, as long as you're doing it from a place of love and being genuine and sincere, it doesn't matter what the other person does because you know you've come from a genuine place and the truth always comes out. And I think that's a big thing with that. People don't allow themselves to just be honest and have the conversation. And I've used this example again with my clients talking about dating. Do you know if I'm talking to a girl and straight off the bat she says to me, just so you know, this is what I'm willing to accept and not willing to accept. Like, if you disrespect me, if you do this, if you do that, not accepting it. I'm like, fucking hell, all right. Sounds like a bit of a turn on. It's like, fuck, like you know what the fuck you're going on about because you've set your intentions. Bam, that's what it is. But people are afraid to do that. But you shouldn't be afraid. You need to be honest and direct and upfront.
But I think with dating, it's always a thing of like, this is the person, whether it's the man or the female or whatever type of relationship it is.
It's actually woman, not female. I got called out on this.
Galdem.
Apparently, because I didn't know this. So, do you know female?
Yeah.
Basically replies, there can be anything. Female dog, female cat, female cow.
Okay.
So it can be quite derogatory to women, apparently, because women means a female human.
Okay.
Because apparently when I speak on podcasts, calling females apparently is not okay.
Well,
so someone called me out on it, so women.
Okay, rephrase.
Women, Heather, please. Women.
Whatever gender or non-gender or whatever. But
Human
I think
species.
breathing mammals, dogs and cats not included. Anyway, I feel like, especially with like online dating and stuff, there's this idea that you like need to like win this person, like, and you've got to say the right things. I hate the whole timing of messages. I don't know whether it's like a my generation thing, but girls especially get so like caught up with, oh well, he took 2 hours to reply, so shall I take 3? And it's like, would you normally communicate like that? Or emulating how they message? So if you're someone who sends lots of short, quick messages, but this person is sending massive paragraphs that take like 2 GCSE English degrees to understand. GCSE English degrees? Clearly I don't have either of those. But if you're adapting how you communicate to please this person, again, that's just a minor way you are dropping your boundaries.
And you're not being you.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is, 6 months down the line, the real is going to come out and that person's going to be like, this isn't what I signed up to.
Yeah.
I think we've gone down a complete fucking rabbit hole here, but this is what we do. But I think this is the biggest problem when it comes to social media and dating, and especially your generation. I don't think it's as much in my generation. I know Mike's older than me, so how old are you, Mike?
I'm 27, brother.
Oh, fuck's sake!
Fuck.
Yeah, but that's still millennial.
Yeah, no, but I thought Mike was older than me. He's not. I'm the eldest in the room.
No.
Fuck! I've shot myself right in the foot there.
It's alright. I'm muted.
Fuck's sake!
I'm just
We can edit
on
that
the
part
bound.
Sticking in that.
I'm 98 and Gen Z is 97, so I'm like an old Gen Z.
But I think from my generation onwards, it's not really people. The older you get, I think you get more. You don't want the fucking bullshit. This is what I am. Accept what I am, who I am. I think your generation have the social media thing. It'd be interesting to see where you guys are at when you're in your 30s, to how it shifted, because there's just such a thing of like fakeness of just trying to impress the people. And I guess there is no boundaries with that. There's no boundaries. People have no fucking boundaries, and they've got no loyalty to themselves, their friends, sponsors they've got. They're literally just, and you have to be out for yourself, but people are so out for themselves in a fuck everyone else kind of way, when that's not the attitude. It should be, I'm looking after me. I need to look after number one, but making sure everyone else is okay.
Yeah.
Rather than, I'm fucking amazing, fuck you motherfuckers, and that's basically kind of what the attitude is. But whereas my generation now, like when in my 30s and stuff, it's a lot more like, yeah, I'm not really bothered.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wearing fucking shorts. It's fucking freezing outside. I don't really care. Like, I'm not bothered. I don't care what people think of me. Again, I walked around. I can't believe people are like, I'm so glad that Mike wasn't around then. When my fucking beard and my long hair during lockdown.
I mean,
like
it was
I
a
homeless.
vibe. It was
a vibe. But it just showed I didn't care.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's like too many people care about what other people think.
Oh yeah, ever since lockdown, I do not care about not wearing makeup. I never used to be caught up in it.
I've got more makeup on than you today.
You literally do.
That's not a joke.
But I would happily not wear makeup, but I wouldn't look anyone in the eye if I was at the gym and I wasn't wearing makeup. Like, heaven forbid I saw anyone. And I would put makeup on, just not like to please people or anything, but just because I felt like that was me presenting myself the best way I could.
Was that you putting a mask on?
Not really, because I felt like wearing makeup, I felt more like myself.
Okay.
And it's like in lockdown and stuff, I just realised I just don't, I don't have the time or the effort to put makeup on. If I'm going somewhere nice and I want to put makeup on, I will. But it's like I don't want to wear makeup to play like a role or something.
You shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you should be able to rock up and do what you need to do. My thing is, the only reason I'm wearing makeup, by the way, just to clarify for people, is I get a really oily T-zone and I don't have a shiny forehead while we're doing this. That's the only reason. Translucent powder, foundation, that's all I'm wearing. But the point is, like, as females, I think you should be able to do that. Like, I almost feel like there's an expectation that a female should be wearing makeup.
A female.
Oh, see... For me, I don't see
Daniel
how...
James
this
Fitness is
This
cancelled.
is what winds me up. I don't see female as a derogatory term. Anyway, woman. With women, they should be able to... Because again, men, male, same thing. Like, I would not be offended if someone called me male.
Excuse me, male. Where's your T-shirt from?
Do you mean male, female? Do you know what I mean? I don't see how that can be...
That's
the intent. This is when it comes to, with my podcast. My intention.
Okay.
Is my intention to be a sexist, derogatory bigot? No.
I don't think so.
So I should be able to say female, and people will be like, oh, he clearly means a woman. Anyway, where was I going with that? Women should be allowed to just rock up out of bed and do what the fuck they want to do without having to worry about being judged on how successful they are, how much they've got their fucking shit together based on whether they're wearing makeup or not.
Oh, yeah, but do you know what? This is a complete different tangent. Having your shit together means nothing. So me, compared to 2 years ago, I have my shit together now, like, in comparison. Equally, I really don't have my shit together. And it's like, you're never going to have your shit together. And I feel like you can almost get to a point of having too much shit together that you kind of need to let it slip.
But this is the thing, and I listened to podcasts on this the other day, people talk about money. And basically talking about when it comes to money, and it was these American people basically saying that when you're rich and successful, you still have the same fucking problems as when you're broke. And again, they're American. They're basically saying, like, when you're broke, you have one air conditioner that needs fixing. When you're rich, you have 7 air conditioners you need fixing. It's the same fucking problem. Yeah. People still have the same problems, and people somehow think that everyone's got their shit together. No one has their shit together. Jeff Bezos does not have his shit together. He just got a divorce. Clearly, there's something going on.
Wait, is that Bill Gates, or is that...
That's Jeff Bezos is the Amazon person.
Yeah, but Bill Gates has got a
Bill
divorce.
Gates also got a divorce. Now.
It's all going downhill, isn't it?
Do some research into that.
Imagine Tinder on that end of America.
There's something into that about the stock markets, because you've got the 2 richest males in the world, both happen to be getting a divorce at this certain time. People are basically saying they're doing it to avoid something that's going on in the stock market. Insider knowledge, if it happens, you heard it here first, Palmer Project Podcast. But anyway, just throwing it out there. So yeah, anyway, my point is they clearly, well, I'm using an example, they're getting a divorce, they clearly don't have their shit together, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, they've got their shit more together than people think because they're just smart. But my point is, I think this thing, everyone thinks people are successful.
Really?
In some way, shape or form. But people look at certain people and they'll be like, oh, they must have their shit together. Like Dwayne Johnson. Like the most richest, successful, highest paid movie star in the world. People look at him and be like, his life is perfect. I can categorically guarantee you that he still has to go for a shit in the morning. He still fucking bleeds. He's still got the same fucking problems that some of us have. He's got a lot more money to get things done quicker.
Yeah,
but he's still winging life. There's no way that he is not winging life because he cannot know what the future holds.
Yeah.
So we're all really winging it. We're all winging it, but somehow we just look around and think that everyone knows what's going to happen. Somehow everyone's got this script of the world and they know what tomorrow's going to bring, and somehow we don't, and we're like, oh my God, how do I not know? No one knows.
That's why whenever I have a little bit of a wobble, I used to be like, oh, I'm having a mental breakdown and everything. And then I just look at people around me and I'm like, everybody's having a mental breakdown all the time.
Everyone's winging
just
it.
Emotions.
Everyone's winging it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just these little lumps of meat floating around on a rock.
You float around, do you?
Yeah.
Strutting around. Charlotte struts. She's not here. Yeah. She's going to look back on this. We have Charlotte strutting. Like we're superimpose her just strutting across the street.
Speaking of winging it, we've winged completely.
We have completely gone off target.
We had a plan, believe it or not.
We literally, like, if I show the thing, we did actually have a fucking thing, because Ben and me and Heather are so terrible at this. We kind of brought Charlotte in to try and keep us together. She's now gone. It's not worked.
Charlotte.
We've literally just started as we meant to go on. And for the very first episode, we just got off on tangents.
But then the tangents developed a great podcast.
Yeah, they did. People loved it.
Yeah.
There's me thinking. I remember the first time we did a podcast, and I thought, fuck, no one's going to like this because we've just gone off on massive tangents. And everyone's like, oh my God, I love Heather. I'm like, cool.
Really? I mean,
superstar. But it's like, because we go off on massive tangents, and again, you're very real, and I'm just very, well, I try and be real. Like, I just seem to offend people by saying female rather than women, so apologies if anyone's been offended by that. Anyway, talking about boundaries. Do you have to shoot off at any point, by the way?
How
long do I have you for?
Like
2 minutes.
2 minutes, but also like the sentences can be said beyond the 2 minutes. I'm not exclusive.
You're not exclusive?
I don't know what
You
I'm
heard
on
it. You heard it here, man. She's not exclusive.
I've got a great idea. Get someone on a podcast that can barely form sentences.
I offered her a coffee before this episode, by the way, so it's just people to know at home. I did offer her a coffee. So when it comes to boundaries, like I said, I've got loads of notes on this, so I'll hold the fort when you have to go. This is all Mike's fault, by the way. Like this podcast was perfectly planned. Two
It's
amazing.
technically my fault as well. For not having the boundaries to say no to an invitation, but free food, so...
I'm just going to blame Mike.
Okay.
I feel like
I tried to save you.
I feel like it's just easier. Just like, yeah,
Alright.
Mike. It's all right.
I tried, sorry.
It's good to all of them. We're going to get Mike, by the way, we're going to get Mike on a podcast at some point because Mike is absolutely fucking awesome. Everyone loves Mike. Everyone loves Raymond. I feel like it should be everyone loves Mike. Like, I feel like he's become part of the team.
British spin-off.
The British spin-off, yeah, see? Like, I feel like when Americans do British spin-off, this suck. But when British do Americans, so yeah, we'll do that. I love that. So don't worry, I'll hold down the fort and finish off with the boundaries. But what did you want to say on boundaries? Because again, this was your topic. So what was it specifically, if you had to summarise, when it comes to boundaries, before I take over, what did you want to get out about boundaries? Hit me.
All right. I feel like boundaries... Oh, gosh.
Absolutely no pressure. No
No,
pressure.
I feel like I have to sound really eloquent with this. It's...
Oh, before you carry on, I've heard you talking. So Heather sent us in our little podcast group chat one of her university things.
That's actually my dissertation.
Dissertation. She makes me sound like a ravenous animal. Like, she was so well spoken, and apparently,
But I have to speak like
yes,
that.
this is the funny part. She had to take the northern out of her accent, and it was so good to hear. So, doing about talking eloquently, I feel like you should summarise it in your proper like.
No, because to talk like that, you have to talk like this, and oh my gosh, everything is so amazing.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And it's really depressing documentary and doing it all, and I'm like, did you know that?
It was just so funny. I was just listening to it, I was like, who the hell is this person? I
yeah.
genuinely, at the start, I didn't realise it was you. I thought
That's
someone else.
probably a
I
good
thought someone else was talking, and then you'd come in. I was like, oh no, this actually is Heather.
Yeah, I mean, alter ego.
But isn't it mad though, when it comes to social media, the news, blah blah blah, that you can't talk in a northern accent?
You can, but I think it's like
Frowned
pronunciation of words.
Yeah, but
so
how fucking much
if
bullshit is that?
if I talk proper Huddersfield right now, like I just
Yeah, but
no
listen.
one knows what I'm on
but
about.
listen. There's talking in like another language, but when you're
That's
talking
another language.
when you're talking in Huddersfield,
mother
when you're
tongue,
talking in
that.
Huddersfieldian, like up north, when you're talking that, you're talking like English. When you're talking in English with an accent, I think that's
Do you
a
want
good
out
thing.
front shops? Because not in house.
Yeah, there we go. But like with that, I'd be like, it's like when people say duck. So I understand that people don't understand what that means,
Yeah.
but I feel like just having an accent that's northern and I pronunciate things, I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to that fakeness. So again, let's say you make it and you're fucking this big successful person, and then I see you on TV and I see you in real life, I'd be like,
But that's why I'm not going into the news. Can you imagine me sat in a blazer at a desk like, and in today's top stories, coronavirus.
oh god, I'm going to C word.
But yeah, so
Hit me with the
boundaries.
summary. Hit me with the summary. 'Cause
Okay.
right, you've not set boundaries here because you said 2 minutes,
All right,
4
fine.
minutes ago.
Bam,
done.
So this is boundaries.
Summaries, right, summaries.
Yeah, so boundaries is basically like not compromising your sense of self or what you believe in or how you feel about a situation for other people, and also checking in with yourself and how you feel when you're giving other people your energy. If you're a people pleaser, if you like to make people happy, if you have other people's best intentions, give some of that to yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like being selfish is a big thing, because people can feel so guilty about being selfish, and I'm like, the most important person in your entire life
Is you.
is yourself. And I guess like if you've got kids or a cat or a dog,
But even then, they still need boundaries. How do you train a dog?
oh yeah, my
do you train a
cat is
dog?
not
Set
getting
fucking
fed
boundaries.
until I'm awake. I don't care how much she meows. Nah,
Set boundaries.
intermittent fasting. You've got summer body to get.
Okay.
Sometimes I feed her twice because I'm like, you're still meowing, so bulking.
Why not? Yeah, why not?
But yeah, that's my take on boundaries.
Awesome. Where can people find out more about you? Because you've changed your Instagram again. What is your Instagram?
Oh my god, so this is actually a really good point. Boundaries. So with Instagram, I have really like dialed back my Instagram because
Can I set a boundary for you to have one Instagram handle and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just keep for that for the
No,
rest of
I
your
don't
life?
have my no, I don't like that. I change my
Just keep the
personality
same
every
one,
week. But I found that I was sharing so much on Instagram, like with the intention of helping other people through my experiences, but I was getting so many like deep messages from people that knew so much about my life because obviously I put it out there. I was like, I don't even know this person's name. Their username is like Robot10, and That's not a real name. Robot 10, if you're listening, hi. But I had to massively dial back what I was putting on Instagram, and I put a lot of things down like my close friends story, because those are my actual friends, and it's like they can see me like being like, haha, I'm so funny. But yeah, so in other words, my Instagram is at Hevocado98.
Say that again.
At Hevocado98. It's like avocado, but I have.
Your own brand of avocado.
Yeah, I've got an avocado keychain.
There you go.
I've actually got 2.
You're a bit,
Tell me.
Do you want to hold it high just to make
Tell
sure
me
you're on
you're.
camera? There you go.
Tell me you're a Gen Z without telling me you're a Gen Z.
But do you avocado?
I do avocado.
There you go. Good. Nothing gets past you ever.
And I've got to go home now because I've got an avocado order. I don't.
You've got some free food to get to.
I do.
I'll hold down the fort. Don't worry.
Okay.
See you next time, Heather. Been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Right. So just me again. Haha. Got all the cameras on me. So let's finish off with boundaries. So like I said, it's important to me that Heather actually managed to get on this episode and share this, because it was what she wanted to talk about. So for me, it's I'm going to pick up with kind of where she left off, because we did have an actual structure. So I'm going to try and get that structure out as much as possible. So for me, it's when I spoke to this about my clients, it's about when it comes to boundaries. Excuse me. What I was saying to my clients is that once you get yourself into this good place, you've got yourself in this good place and you're smashing life, everything's absolutely amazing. What's happening is you are elevating yourself to a higher place. Now, when you elevate yourself to that higher place, you need to understand that people want to latch onto that. Now, this isn't the kind of person that we talk about when it comes to energy vampires, mood hoovers, all that sort of stuff. I'm talking about genuine people that just see you in a good place and they're a bit like, oh, I like that. So they again try and latch onto you, but it's then a case of, right, so do you actually have these boundaries in place? Again, we were talking about the Heather just there. It's like, you've got to have that self-respect and self-worth to have these boundaries set and know, okay, this is okay, like I can actually stick to this. But fundamentally, the reason why we let them slip is because we want to make sure that others are okay. And most people are nice people. So you want to make sure that other people are okay. So then you compromise on your boundaries, your self-worth, your happiness, just to make sure the other person's okay. We want other people's approvals. Like we want our friends, our partners to like us, but then means we feel guilty when people want us to come out and then we say no. So we don't want to go out most of the time. Again, like I said, when it first came to me and I wasn't drinking alcohol, people wanted me to come out. And I was like, well, I don't want to go out. But then I feel guilty. And I'm just like, but what are they ultimately going to think of me? And that was the biggest problem. I was too worried about what other people would think of me rather than what would I think of me. So why not flip it that way? Think about what other people think of you. What do you think of you making that decision to please other people? Does it actually sit well with you? Because if it doesn't, then that's a bit of a problem. Now, this is also a key thing. When we spoke about you becoming the best version of yourself, you've started to improve your life, everything's going amazing. You then have expectations. So people are expecting you to act a certain way. So you've got the old you and you've got the new you. So people expect you to rock up as the old you. And then what you do is you're a bit like, oh, fuck, like, I know they're expecting this kind of me to come out. So then you meet their expectations of you. Not the you that you currently are, the best version of you, the one that's got you into this good place. You go down to them and you act how they expect you to act at the cost of yourself, your self-happiness, your self-worth. Because what if they don't like you? What, heaven forbid, what if these people don't like you? But then ask yourself, are these the kind of people that you actually want to be hanging around with? If you can't actually be yourself, this new version of you, if they can't accept that new version of you and how amazing you are as a person, then do you really want to be hanging around with them? And this is something I've really had to come to terms with when it comes to my friendship circle on this journey that I'm on. I know exactly where I'm going, which is why I've hired fucking Mike, and he's awesome. And I've been ripping the shit out of him for this, for the fact that I've lost my 2 co-hosts. But the guy's fucking absolutely awesome. I love him to absolute fucking bits, and his missus is awesome as well. Absolute fucking awesome people around me at the minute. So when I've come with these ideas, which me and Mike were before this episode, there's 2 types of people. There's the people that accept who I am now, and they're going to help me become the best version of me. They're going to listen to my ideas, say, that's stupid, that's good, have you tried this, have you tried that? And then there's the people that are going to expect me to be the old version of me. I don't want to hang around with those kind of people if they can't accept who I am now. They don't have to understand where I'm going, but if they're trying to pull me back to the old me to make themselves feel comfortable, I do not want that in my life. I don't need that in my life. Like, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm trying to surround myself with people that are going to help support me be that new, better, happier version of me. If someone's going to affect my mental health, I'm not going to do it. And again, there's been numerous friends recently that I've met up with that I haven't seen since I've been in a bad headspace, which again is a good few years ago. And every single one of them said, without fail, oh my God, I was expecting you to be completely different. Like, you are not what I expected. I'm like, well, good, because I'm not that person. Like, I'm literally a completely different version of me. So I'm really, really glad that you aren't what I expected. Like, they were expecting the old me to rock up. Probably fucking miserable, probably fucking bitching, probably complaining, just fucking do it. Like, no, that's not me anymore. And they're like, fucking hell, like, it's got something different about you. You've got a different energy. Yeah, because I'm in a fucking good place. And then it's then about paying that forward. You don't go there to be an arrogant fucking twat. You don't just pay it forward. I had a message from a client earlier on, and it's happened to me twice this week. It's been absolutely fucking incredible. Saying that the information I've helped with this client, they've then told a friend in need, and it's helped them out. And a lady came to see me the other day, and I said, "Oh, I've got a book for you. That'll be brilliant." And she went, "Oh no, don't worry. Like, your client's already given it to me." I thought, "Fucking hell! Like, I've just given this book to this client, and then she's then passed it on to someone else. It's just fucking amazing." But anyway, back to boundaries. God, see, I normally say this: Heather's here to help me stay in line, but she really isn't. We both just wander off on tangents. But essentially, the reality of the situation is, you end up drained. You end up drained with absolutely no motivation, and you go back to your old default where you were unhappy, miserable, and trying to be a people pleaser. So you need to protect your energy. Now, the little analogy that I use with this is there's you, and you've got these 3 bottles of water. They're the finest mineral water from the finest land of water that you can possibly think of. And that's just your motivation. So your motivation, your willpower, your money, whatever it is that you've got that's absolutely amazing, making you be the best version of you. You've got these 3 things of it. And then you've got this other person over there that's got absolutely nothing. And what they'll do is they'll come along and be like, "Hey, can I just grab one of those bottles?" And you being a good person, you're like, "Yeah, sure. Like, yeah, grab a bottle." Now, the analogy that I use with this, again, on top of this, is we all know the friends. It's normally the opposite sex where you've ordered a certain thing. Let's say you've ordered a steak and chips, and the other person has ordered a boring fucking salad. That person will then say, that looks quite nice. I want a chip. They might not say consciously or unconsciously, but they'll be like, "Oh, can I have one chip?" How does that end up going down? 50 chips later, completely unintentionally, they haven't done it to be an arsehole. They're literally like, they genuinely meant to have one chip, but then they liked it. And you've then let them take all of your chips. And that's exactly what happens with these bottles of energy. What they say, "Oh, can I grab one?" And you're like, "Yeah, of course you can, grab one." And then you've got none left. So you were now in this amazing place. You were there in this amazing place with your bottles. The bottles hope to get amazing. Someone said, "Can I grab one?" And before you know it, you've now got none. And then you are now the person that's got to go and refill that. But why are you giving away your bottles when you need them? You need the bottles. You need them. So why are you giving them away? And it goes back to the whole thing again, that guilty. "Oh, I want to help. You want to be people. You want to help other people." Again, remember when the gas masks, bloody hell, oxygen masks, bloody hell, a bit dark. The oxygen masks on an aeroplane come in, bloody hell. Definitely not gas masks. Oxygen masks come down on the aeroplane. And the announcement comes on, the safety announcement thing, they'll say, "Put your mask on first, and then put other people's on." And I've literally had a consultation with someone, and I've said to them, when that happens, they tell you to put yours on first, then help one else. And they will turn around and be like, "Yeah, but I'd still help other people first." Then you're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot. Because what you're doing is you're then killing your kids because you're so fucking stubborn that you don't want to put your mask on first to help you so you can then help your kids. Do you see the insanity of this? Do you understand that? If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, you're trying to help your kids. You will pass out and die, meaning you cannot help your kids. I don't mean to be fucking angry about it, but it's like, I cannot stress to you enough how important it is for you to protect your energy. This is what I'm going on about this so much. The more that I'm going down this rabbit hole, you heard the podcast with Owen, the stuff we're talking about now, the stuff I'm going this podcast, I'm trying to help you guys really, really, really become the best versions of you. And the more that I'm learning this stuff, it's the same stuff that comes up time and time again. And it is your energy. It's your energy. Stop giving your energy away when you need it first. And you know what you're doing, and you know when you're doing it, so stop it. And breathe. Sorry. I didn't think I'd get this angry, well, I say angry, passionate when I've got two other people in the room. Anyway, and this is the big thing with this that people don't want to hear. It's not the person that's stealing your chips or your water's fault. It's your fault. Let me say that one more time. It is not their fault. It is your fault. We're not talking, by the way, now about mood hoovers and energy vampires. I hope you're getting this. These people aren't doing it deliberately. These people are genuinely just like, "Oh, can I have a chip?" They're not coming in there trying to steal your chips. They're not there looking at it thinking like, "Oh, fucking hell, like food envy." No, it's like, "Oh, that looks really nice. Can I have some?" Completely genuine, completely sincere. These are really nice people. These are people that are not energy vampires. They're not these kind of people. But it's your fault because you're agreeing to let them take it. And it's your responsibility to say no. This is when it comes to setting the boundaries. Now, one of my clients gave me this So this is a question for you. I'm going to give you an elephant. What are you going to do with it? There's 2 rules. I'm giving you an elephant. 2 rules. You cannot give it away, and you cannot sell it. What would you do with it, Mike?
What am I supposed to be doing with it? Right, I'm going to ride it.
Hey, okay, listen, like that answer. So you're going to ride it. Okay, just put you on the spot. So this is a genuine question. Okay. How about you say thank you, but no thank you? Why the fuck would you accept something that you've got absolutely no use for and it's not going to benefit you? What the fuck are you going to do with an elephant? Actually, right. Speaking to the wrong fucking bloke here. This motherfucker owns a farm. So this guy is the guy that could get an elephant, but do you know what? I'll make it work. Fucking hell. So this guy actually does have a farm. So he is the guy that actually could do something. But for most of you guys, the answer to that question, so again, give you an elephant, you can't give it away, you can't sell it, what are you going to do with it? Most of you guys will try and do something with that elephant, but you don't want the elephant. You literally do not want the elephant. It's not going to bring any benefit to your life. So why are you accepting it? Because you have no boundaries. You want to be a people pleaser. No, thank you, but no thank you. I don't want or need the elephant. I appreciate the offer though, but I've got nowhere to. No. See there, I was trying to justify it. You don't have to fucking justify why you don't want an elephant. But you don't. I do not thank you, but I don't want the elephant. Thank you. And that's a great analogy with that, like to just help you guys understand what you basically do in your life. You just take all this stuff on and you try and help people and give things away, and it's got no benefit to you. And here's a big thing when it comes to guilt. So again, Heather touched on this. You are not responsible for other people's issues and their lack of X, Y, or Z. And the problem is, we want to help fix people's problems, issues, things, and then we feel guilty because we feel responsible for them. We're not responsible. We're not responsible for that. I'm not responsible for how Mike feels about certain things. I should be able to say anything to Mike about Mike, as long as I'm coming from a place of complete sincerity and being genuine. It is then not down to me. It's not my problem how he responds to that. That's his problem. As long as I'm trying to be genuine, looking after myself, and I'm articulating it in the right way, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't bother me what Mike does. That's on Mike. That's Mike's issue. But we don't. We're like, oh yeah, but Mike's going to feel this way. Yeah, but Mike's going to feel that way. How am I going to feel? If I'm going to feel depressed, literally, if this action of what I'm going to say, if I don't set this boundary, and it's going to lead me to a dark, dark place, why does it matter Mike's feelings? If what I'm doing is genuine, if the boundary that I'm setting is genuine, coming from a pure-hearted place, why does it matter about Mike's feelings when I know it will lead me to depression? It will lead me to a very, very dark place. Why does that matter? And this is again why people stay in relationships. Horrible, abusive relationships. Oh yeah, but no. You need to look after yourself. And again, it's a completely different rabbit hole to go down, but it's the same principle. So let's move on to how do we actually set boundaries. So we spoke about boundaries, what boundaries are, and why we let our boundaries slip, and the importance of not letting boundaries slip. But how about I give you some actual advice on how to set boundaries? Because I think this is something that, again, we're not taught, and most people probably don't even realise. I didn't particularly realise it until I sort of went down this thing to sort of understand this. But the first thing you've got to do when it comes to setting boundaries is ask yourself, what is my preference? What is my desire? And how do I feel about things? So you're asking yourself. You're not worried about Mike. You're not worried about anybody else. You're not worried about Heather. How do I feel about this? Because you need to know what you need first and put your needs first. Because if you don't put your needs first and you don't decide, others will decide for you. Again, recurring theme of the podcast. How many times have we said this? About other people dictating to you where you should go in your life. This is why people end up at 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old and they're like, fucking hell, my life's been shit. Because all they've done is let other people dictate to them and decide for them where and what they should be doing with their life. You have a choice. It's your responsibility to decide what you want. Now from there, you then got to communicate. Communicate and express your boundaries, especially women. Females, women. Women. I was right the first time. Women. If you're in a relationship with a male, please listen to what I'm about to say. Men are stupid as fuck. You may think that we know what you're talking about, but we fucking don't. You literally need to communicate to us exactly what you need and exactly what we need to do to help, because we're fucking that stupid. You think we're not. You think we're putting it on. And let me tell you, we are that stupid. So when it comes to boundaries and communicating, you need to express that. I want this because you can do this to help me. That simple. You don't leave it up to interpretation because we're stupid. The art of communication when it comes to relationships. I wish I'd learned this fucking sooner. Express your boundaries so people know exactly where you stand and what your boundaries are. Because if you don't tell people, they won't know. And do not be afraid of uncomfortable situations. And when it comes to communicating, 3 key things when it comes to communication. You have to be direct, you have to be honest, and you have to be kind. Basically, just don't be a fucking dick. Now, when it comes to this, again, my former coach won't mind me talking about this. So I had a coach who used to work at the Palmer Project. When he first started here, we had to have a bit of a serious conversation about some stuff. And it was very, very uncomfortable. It was the first time I had to actually be boss. Now, everyone loves to be the boss until it comes time to actually be the boss. And it was my first proper encounter where I had to be the boss. Very, very uncomfortable. But I was coming from a place of complete honesty, complete sincerity. And my communication was direct, it was honest, and it was kind. It was very, very uncomfortable, let me tell you. I then ended up needing to go for a piss. I came back. We hugged. He said, "Thank you. That's exactly what I needed to hear." That uncomfortableness was what was needed to break down this particular barrier that was causing the issues. Me and him, to this day, have a fantastic relationship. The art of communication. You have to, especially when it comes to your boundaries, you have to communicate. And then the third thing, so the first one is what do you want? The second one is then communicating it. The third one is if needed, compromise. Because again, if you're in a relationship, sometimes you will have to compromise. And if you're in a friendship group, sometimes you may have to compromise. So for example, you're in a group of males, females, whatever it is, group chat, or even a face-to-face, where do you guys want to eat tonight? Normally, you don't say anything. Oh, I'm easy, wherever. Set no boundaries, not bothered at all. You end up down the local fucking pizza shop and you hate pizza. But you've done it because you've not set any sort of boundaries, you've just kind of done it. How about you just throw your 2 pence worth in? What do I want? I want an Indian. I would love an Indian tonight. The other 5 people in the group, I really fancy Chinese. Cool. Well, you're going to have to compromise there. So then, you then turn around and be like, do you know what? I'm cool with the Chinese actually. How about next week we go for an Indian? Oh, that's a great idea. Compromise. You see? You've then laid out, I want an Indian. The rest of the group said, they want Chinese. Is there a compromise here where this time we go to a Chinese, you've got no problem with Chinese, and the next week go for an Indian? Cool. Both parties are happy. Give and take. That is how it works. But you've set your boundary. You've said, I kind of want an Indian. Now, let's say you hate Chinese. Then don't go. Communicate that. Do you know what? I really, really hate Chinese. How about fish and chips? Oh yeah, fish and chips, yeah, great. But you have to communicate that. You have to communicate effectively, but compromise when necessary. Now, when I say when necessary, only if it doesn't compromise your mental health. If it compromises your mental health, you do not compromise. Let me make that clear one more time. Only compromise if you can compromise. Do not compromise if it's going to affect your mental health. Because let me fucking tell you, and Mike will back me up on this, it is not worth it. Nothing is worth compromising your mental health for. Let me tell you that for absolute free. And again, it can be uncomfortable and it can be super, super awkward when you first start out setting boundaries. I know it can. Again, I've been there, I've done that. Like I just said with my coach, very, very uncomfortable, very, very awkward. But it's worth it in the end because then it puts you back in control of your life. You understand. But remember what me and Heather said. You have to stand by the boundaries. You cannot start to compromise. If you compromise once, people will smell the weakness. They'll know they can get you if they keep pushing you, if they say the right things, if they threaten you with certain things. Set your boundaries, stick to your boundaries. Very, very, very important. It comes from self-worth. You are worthy of happiness. You are worthy of setting boundaries. You are worthy of doing what you want to do in your life. And most importantly, trust the process. I just threw it in there. There we go. I didn't know I've got loads of these t-shirts on the website. I can't remember which one I was actually wearing. But I didn't know if there's one that would be more of an accurate one, but there wasn't. So I need to get able to communicate. Let's get that. Communicate effectively. There you go. Communicate effectively. That'd be another t-shirt. Like like I said, got some amazing guests lined up. And like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying the new format. If you are listening to this on Spotify, iTunes, don't forget to leave us a review, like and share it with a friend if you've taken any value from today's episode. If you are on YouTube, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, and also don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. There'll potentially be some stuff coming on YouTube. There's like exclusive content. If me and Mike put some stuff together that isn't podcast related, it'll be there. So just subscribe, make sure you don't miss it. As always, the love that you guys bring to the show is absolutely incredible. Again, I've got some amazing guests lined up to come on. And it's all thanks to you guys sharing the love. You guys are absolutely awesome. I really hope you've taken some value from today's episode. I don't apologise for how I've approached it. I don't apologise for being blunt, because I'm doing it from a place of I'm trying to help you guys. And I love you guys, and I genuinely do care. The feedback I get from you guys is why I'm doing this. It's why I've got Mike here. It's like I want to help you guys as much as I possibly can. So please don't get butthurt by it. Please see it for how it's actually meant and intended. Like, I'm just trying to help you guys. Enjoy your week. I'll see you same time next week on Tuesday. Well, it depends where you listen to this, actually. Don't know why I said that. That's really weird why I said that. That's how I normally end my Instagram lives. And obviously, I'm not on Instagram live. I feel under pressure. I've got these cameras on me. I'm sweating. It's just too much pressure. I can't handle it. Have an amazing week. Thank you as always, and take care.